When you say off our stuff at 11 to the governor's stuff. We still do our look live, and then they want us to go throughout the neighborhood with the iPhone and shoot like 3 to 4 little hits for social media, and I can email that on my way back.
Just wait and take the rest of the line. That works. Yep, it will be my shot.
They just took both shots.
Hey guys, get ready, get ready, get ready.
Good morning, guys. We're just waiting for the governor. Can you guys come a little closer, please? Governor Fallin, do you mind stepping up closer so that we can all kind of get in here? Good morning, Governor. Thank you so much.
Well, good morning. Thank you for coming. It's hard to believe that we're back here at another elementary school here in Moore, Oklahoma, in a neighborhood that's been struck by a tornado. I just want to say our thoughts and prayers are with those who have sustained injuries and loss of property, and certainly with our family in the Sand Springs area that had a loss of life, and we hope and pray that there is no other loss of life in our state. Mayor Lewis, and to the fire chief, the police chief, Superintendent Romines, and certainly all of our legislators represented here today, our first responders, our various charities that are here. It's hard to believe that 2 years later we're back at a Moore public school surveying damage. I am very thankful that the school did not receive this damage during school hours, that it happened at night when people were in their homes or in different places, but we're thankful that no children received any injuries at this particular site. I want to just say that I have already declared a state of emergency in 25 counties across the state, which will allow the state of Oklahoma to be able to begin the process of accessing our damage and looking at it and seeing if we qualify for any federal assistance, and also will allow us to speed up the state services in our state. Want to just add that we're very proud of the utilities that have worked so hard. Utility companies worked so hard to get the power back on. We had substantial power losses all across the state of Oklahoma. We're also still looking at assessing the damage across Moore and across Yukon, other areas of the state, especially around the Tulsa area that's received damage, to see what's occurred, and working with our insurance commissioner and our other charities. I'm proud that the superintendent's already began a plan to be able to shift classroom services to a local church in this area, and he'll talk more about that in just a few moments. We've been down this road before. We know what to do, and I'm just very grateful that we have so many people that worked so hard over the night to make sure that people were safe, to make sure they weren't injured, and then to certainly make sure that we keep our roads and highways blocked off from power lines that were down, and make sure that the traveling public was also safe. So I also want to thank the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, the Office of Emergency Management, and Albert Ashwood and his team. Director Ashwood had the Office of Emergency Management operating all last night and had it going and coordinating services statewide because we had so many storms that came through the state of Oklahoma. And so I'll go ahead and turn it over to our mayor. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add? And Director Ashwood?
Actually, I'd like to say thank you to the governor and thank you to Albert Ashwood. We've been through more tornadoes than anybody in the world probably, and they are so great to work with. I just appreciate everything they do. I appreciate you guys coming out. You guys have been great to tell our story, to get the message out. The weathermen on the TVs, they saved countless lives, and I want to thank the Red Cross. They were out here last night working with people, getting them housing and food, whatever they needed. So we're very appreciative. This is kind of like a junior tornado for us, so we're very fortunate that no one lost their life. And like I said, cleanup begins now. So it's been 14 hours since the tornado hit, and we intend to start cleaning it up right away.
Governor, I have to ask, a word that we've often heard this morning is the word surprise. Can you talk to us about what you think about the warnings that were in place for folks this morning? Even Mayor Lewis even said he was a little caught by surprise on this storm.
Well, the weatherman started telling us yesterday that the weather was going to be bad. In fact, we had, I guess, probably a couple days notice that we knew that there was potential for storms. The storm here in this particular area did seem to pop up very quickly, and it did, I think, catch some people by surprise, but we're very appreciative of our news outlets. Certainly even being able to use our cell phones and getting weather alerts on our cell phones helped. I know I got them when I was in Oklahoma City. But, you know, I think the important message is that people of Oklahoma need to have a plan. You need to talk to your children, talk to your coworkers, your employees, your families. Have a plan that if the weather should look like it might turn severe, that you watch the weather. There are many different ways that you can do that. And then have a plan. Where do you go? Where do you meet? What do you do if a storm occurs?
There has been some residents have said that they didn't hear any type of warning or siren. Is that anything technical, or is that just because some people were just caught off guard?
I'm a Moore resident, and the sirens went off at our house.
And actually, I can tell you, I was coming across Oklahoma City. The sirens went off 10 minutes before it hit in Oklahoma City. Then we blew ours at 6:30, or right at 6:30. So it's before the storm actually hit, because I heard them both.
Governor, what lessons from the last tornado were implemented since then, and what did that save lives this time?
Well, once again, I think it was having our emergency operations center up, and Director Ashwood and his team were operational. And when we have the emergency center up, it brings all the different first responders into action, talking, communicating, planning, working with the local officials on the ground. It's very important to make sure you're assessing the immediate needs, make sure people are safe, certainly doing search and rescue if someone should be caught or trapped or injured or even hurt. And so we had a good plan of action, but I think the lessons we've learned over the many years, it's not the first time we've had a tornado, even at this site. I think we discussed it may have been about the 4th or 5th time in this immediate neighborhood that over the decades that we've had some type of touchdown of a tornado, is that we have to talk, we have to coordinate, and we're good at that. In fact, I would say we're the best state in the nation when it comes to handling a tragedy or some type of natural disaster. We have a good plan, we have good people, and that's why we're known for the Oklahoma standard.
Governor, how bad is the damage at the school?
An update on the number of injuries right now?
We're still assessing the number of injuries. We know there's been quite a few injuries in Tulsa. And Director Ashwood, do you have any further information?
Well, I think it's important when you talk about assessment numbers that it's going to be a little bit later. This is first light. We have to go out. We have to look at the homes, work with our local jurisdictions, talk about insurance, how much was covered, that type of thing for assistance, and the same way with the injuries and everything else. How many were actually weather-related, how many were injuries that were not weather-related. So we're trying to get to those exact numbers as the day goes on.
How bad was the damage at this school? Because you just took a tour and you talked a little bit about the history. I mean, tell us about how bad this school
And the superintendent, where's the superintendent? He's here somewhere.
It's right here.
Superintendent Romine, I just want to commend Superintendent Romine, bless his heart. We've had too many schools that have been damaged over the past couple of decades, but certainly within the past 2 years. But there is substantial damage at the school. The superintendent gave me a tour. We're very thankful that there were no children or teachers in the school at the time of the storm. But do you want to give him an assessment of the school?
Assessment of the school here. At the beginning, it appears that Southgate Rippetoe is the building that was hit the hardest. We have several sites across the school district that sustained damage due to wind, air conditioning units off the top of the roofs, and so we've got crews all over the school district reviewing the rooftops and structural issues to make sure that we're good to go. And number one priority is safety and security of our students, and we've got to make sure that our buildings are good to go. But unfortunately, Southgate took a direct hit, obviously, and we've already got a plan and a course of action on what we're going to do with this community. Unfortunately, we've been through this before, and we know what we're doing, and we're about putting our community back together and taking care of this community here in this small area.
How much of the building is a
about
loss?
that plan of action?
How much of the building is a loss?
Can't say that at this point in time. That's not my line of work. We'll get structural engineers in here to have a look at all of that and take care of that. But the west wing here doesn't look real good as far as the roof and the flooding and that type of thing. The contents look like it's a total loss on the west side of the building.
Can you tell us where the students will be going?
Absolutely. We've already got a plan in action there. Emmaus Baptist Church, who housed our kids from Briarwood 2 years ago. Pastor Leahy was on the phone with us as early as 8 o'clock last night asking what they needed to do for this little community. They've opened their doors already, and we actually have community members in the building packing in the safe areas, packing teachers' supplies, desks, chairs, and community support and involvement will be coming in soon to relocate and move, and so we'll be up and running at Emmaus Baptist Church before too long. So that's part of our plan that we put in place last evening.
These kids will be out of school the rest of the week.
We've not determined that yet. Tomorrow, of course, is Friday. We've not determined how long we're going to be out of school. Our hope is to get our kids back under the roofs of their buildings and have some type of normalcy for our community. It's important to get back to that stage.
Mayor Lewis, can you comment on the recovery efforts in this area in particular?
Can I comment on what? I'm sorry.
Recovering peanuts?
We've already started doing the recovery. We started last night right after it happened. Silver Star Construction cleared off the area, all except this road out here, because the only reason that one was cleared off within about 6 hours because it had highline wires down on it that were still live. OG&E got those fixed for us this morning about 5:30, and they're in the process of cleaning that off as soon as everybody leaves the area right here. But cleanup has already started, and we're asking people to basically remove the debris to the curb, and we will pick it up. So.
Thank you. Superintendent, will all the schools be checked?
All schools will be checked. Again, we've got crews at all sites. We had straight line winds, and I'm not a meteorologist, but we've had straight line winds and those types of things throughout the school district. And again, it's important to us to make sure that those schools are ready to go for kids to enter, and we will not allow that to happen until we know that the schools are safe and good to go.
Superintendent, this is the second tornado in just a couple of years. Especially those young kids, what message do you have for them? I mean, they're probably scared right now.
Absolutely, and that same message that I shared with my youngest daughter. We're going to be okay. We've got counselors on point and ready to go. Fortunately, we have agencies that stepped in to help us in 2013. They're still here, and that's fortunate for us. And we're gonna get back to where we need to be, and we've proven that before, and it's going to be okay.
Superintendent, for those who want to help, what can they do? What's needed?
At this point, pray and pray for peace and comfort and wisdom as we move through this. There will be a point that we'll reach out and ask for specific things, and I'm not worried about that. Our community has always been behind us, local and afar. So very, very proud and appreciate that question, but prayers for wisdom and courage and support would be most appreciated.
And one other area that people can help if they'd like to is send money to the local charities in the area. Certainly the Red Cross is very helpful, Salvation Army and different associations that will be providing assistance to the families and certainly to the school children here in this area. That's one way they can help immediately. Thank you guys. We appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh man.
Yeah.